Mersin, Turkey, the cradle of civilization, the Mediterranean Sea. Antiquity and modernity brought into one place. They call it the pearl of the Mediterranean. Well, the precious commodities are certainly here to be harvested today. Maybe not pearls, but gold, silver, bronze. Precious metals. It's in this place, not literally this place, it wasn't built then, that gymnastics started on the shores of the Mediterranean Sea. Well, this is perhaps the end of the beginning and the beginning of the end. The place where gymnastics started but then was handed over to the world, and today the place where the preparation process for the World Championships stops. This is the last warm-up event. It's time to think about Liverpool. Here are your runners and riders for the men's floor final. Dimitri Patinin of Kazakhstan, Andrei Muntean of Romania, Nikolai Bozic of Slovenia, Lin Guanyi from Chinese Taipei, Leandre Sauvé of Canada, Australia's Marcus Casamento, the King of Cats himself, Tang Xiaohung of Chinese Taipei, and a big roar for the home hope, Adem Asil of Turkey. Top qualifier, Dimitri Patinin, the gentleman who'll get us underway. Asil, who'll go last, the third strongest in qualification, and before him, Tang Xiaohung, the second best performer in the preliminary round. The warmest of welcomes to you indeed, wherever you're joining the action from. This is the start list for the men's floor exercise. Dimitri Patinin of Kazakhstan, the top performer in qualification. Can he deliver in a final? That's the question. Sometimes his preliminary performances are significantly stronger than what he actually produces in the final round. He's a lovely gymnast, an elegant gymnast. Let's hope that he really can perform here. Tang Xiaohung of Chinese Taipei, second strongest in qualification, and we'll finish with Adem Asil of the host nation, and he is a big performer on floor. The highest difficulty though was Dimitri Patinin in qualification. A look at Andrei Muntean of Romania. 29-year-old, a Youth Olympic Games still rings champion back in Singapore in 2010, the first time that the Youth Olympic Games were held. And isn't this a beautiful setting for a gymnastics competition? The Mersin Gymnastics Hall, that I'm sure is very familiar to those of you who watch World Cup gymnastics and who watch the European Championships in 2020. The floor, the site of one of the greatest triumphs in Turkish women's artistic gymnastics. Who will forget Göksu Uçtaşan taking the silver medal in this very space, the first ever senior honours won by a Turkish woman at the European Championships. The Turkish men have been on the rise for the past 5 or 6 years. They've gone from being bit part players at the Mediterranean Games to being the undisputed champions of their region and to one of the world's best gymnastics teams. As have Chinese Taipei. We're looking there at Lin Guanyi. Chinese Taipei had a fantastic Asian Championships winning team bronze. And all of this should lead to a most intriguing World Championships in Liverpool. Ollie Hogben here, and it's a great pleasure to have your company. Let's get things underway. The men's floor final, first of 10 finals. Dimitri Patinin of Kazakhstan will start things off. The top qualifier. And that's a nice opening tumbling pass. Elegant pike position. And this is good work. He tucked in so tightly, knees right into the chest. Beautiful gymnastics. Sticking it completely, coming out of the twist position. This is a gymnast whose execution score in qualification was 8.85. Really was strong. Lovely fluidity coming out of the handstand. Little details, very nice. Not quite as tidy in his form there. in the air, a little leg separation perhaps, slight hint of untidiness. Very nice twisting work to conclude, minimal adjustments in the final tumbling pass. That's a really good beginning from Dmitry Patinin of Kazakhstan, the 22-year-old who made the floor final at the Asian Championships in Doha. Let's have a look back at some of his work. That landing coming out of the twist position, really the highlight of the whole display from this youngster. And how nice to see him really look assured and composed in a final. Yes, a real close-up look of Dmitry Patinin in more ways than one as he gets things underway in this men's floor competition. 5.9 difficulty score in the preliminary round, 8.85 execution for a 14.75 overall, strongest by a decent margin of 3.5 tenths over Tang Xiaohong, but we have got Adam Asil to come as well later on with a comparable difficulty score. Most of the finals will be running two at a time, but the men's floor exercise will be happening in isolation, as is often the case at the start of a weekend of World Cup artistic gymnastics. You can just imagine as he takes a steadying breath, the nerves that he felt ahead of the Paris floor final. It's one of the toughest World Cups to make your finals debut in. It's a huge occasion, the Paris World Challenge Cup. And he qualified in 6th place to the final in Baku in 2020, that extraordinary competition that took place right at the start of the pandemic, where the gymnasts qualified and then were sent home that night and couldn't participate in the finals. He then had a wait of over 2 years to finally participate in a World Cup final. That's a long, long wait for a young athlete with hopes of really competing on the highest stage. He looks thrilled with the score. We might too when we see it. Here we go, 14.55 for Dmitry Patinin. His execution down by 2 tenths from qualification, same difficulty score. That will take some beating. Andrei Muntean of Romania, the next gymnast to go. 4th strongest in the preliminary round with a score of 14.15. So difficulty-wise, he comes into this having a qualification score that is 6 tenths lower than, than Patinin, but with execution like that, he might well make it up. That's just delightful. 2 stuck landings, a treat. He's a little out of bounds there, so the 10th will come off. Probably more, actually. I think he landed out of bounds. We'll have a look at that. Lovely fluidity into the handstand. Beautiful roll through the straddle position into the handstand again. That really has watery fluidity. Very strong gymnastics from Andrei Muntean of Romania, the 4th highest qualifier. 29-year-old, very experienced. He's competed at 6 World Championships, 8 European Championships. Best known for his work on the parallel bars. Lovely routine that we'll get to enjoy on the parallel bars from him. Let's look back at this display on the floor. His first couple of tumbling passes were absolutely spot on. Then he did transgress out of bounds. Small adjustments, not huge steps back. Nikolaj Bozic of Slovenia will be the next to go. 19-year-old from Ljubljana, one of the youngest athletes in this final. Just two teenagers. He made his first World Cup final at home earlier this year in Koper. And he's very much a specialist on the floor. And he had a few issues with his execution in qualification. He's actually qualified with the lowest execution score of any of the gymnasts making the floor final, but with a 0 start, he can put that behind him and hopefully deliver. Andre Muntian scores 13.8, so he's down by about 3.5 tenths from qualification. It's always going to be tough to have an execution score as high as the 8.85 he produced in the preliminary round. So to Nikolaj Bozic of Slovenia, 19-year-old. Second World Cup final. Good amplitude to begin. Now, that's big twisting work he's going for there in the air. A lot of air time. And just need to steady himself. He's not quite got the rotations right as he lands. A little off axis, but some difficult skills. Perhaps just the tiniest amount of flickering in his handstand. It's very slight. This is growing as it goes on, though. Sense of a young man settling into this performance. Oh, that's a big finish to his routine. What a nice gymnast. Nikolaj Bozic of Slovenia, just 19. One of two teenagers in the final, the athlete from the beautiful city of Ljubljana. He competed at the Mediterranean Games in Oran in Algeria, didn't make the floor final there. Slovenia has had some very nice gymnasts over the years that specialise in the men's floor exercise. I'm sure many of you out there have been fans of Rock Klavora, for example, the 34-year-old now. He has certain elegance to his work, this young gymnast. A little piked, more than a little piked in that landing, so that will certainly carry some 10th deductions. Now, how will it compare to the 13.7 he scored in qualification? 8.2 was his execution number in the preliminary round. Leading the way is Dimitri Patinin. He might be leading for some time. Might well be that only Adam Asil really has a chance of tackling that score produced by Dimitri Patinin. Much for him to ponder. But 3 enjoyable displays to get this men's floor final up and running here in Mersin. 13.65 for Nikolaj Bozic. His execution down by 500ths from qualification, so it was pretty comparable. Now to the gymnast from Chinese Taipei, Lin Guanyi. Sixth strongest in qualification. Oh, he's very piked, landing that first tumbling pass. Powerful run-up. It's quick work. Perhaps not as tidy as patterning in the air. Very secure landing. Again, just a small amount of drop of the chest. Very nice Thomas flares. First that we've seen of those in this final. That takes masses of strength. And the first to use the diagonal armed handstand as well. So some nice variety brought in by Lin to this floor final. That was stable. Lin Guanyi from Chinese Taipei, the 22-year-old who was the only individual medalist for his nation at the Asian Championships, where he picked up a bronze on the still rings. He also was part of the team that won bronze. Very much known for his work on the still rings, but nice to see him competing on the floor. He's an undergraduate at the Taipei University of Education. Grew up absolutely idolising Uchimura Kohei. If you're going to pick an idol in men's gymnastics, that'll do nicely. Just a sense of leg bend in his pike position. The knees very slightly shy of straight. Heels together nicely in the twist position though. Better form in the air there. Coming out of the tuck position, body stayed a little tucked as it were, almost piked as he landed, but his flares were very enjoyable. Yes, the Thomas flares, named after one of the very greats and now sadly the late. Great American gymnast that produced that wonderful and spectacular looking sequence that is so often associated with the pommel horse as well. .9 for Lin Guanyi. Now he's the only gymnast that's actually improved upon his qualification performance. He goes up by a single tenth and goes into the silver medal position at the halfway mark of this men's floor final. So we reach the halfway stage, the touch warm-ups already concluded. And we still have to come the second and third strongest qualifiers, Tang Xiaohong and Adam Asil, in the second half. At the moment it's Patanin over Lin, over Muntian. 13.8 is the gatekeeping score for bronze. Leandre Sauvé of Canada, fifth best in qualification. The other teenager, along with Nikolaj Bozic. He's from Laval in Quebec. And what a great month he's had, winning his first ever World Cup honours, a silver medal on vault in Sombate last weekend. Had so much amplitude there that he bounds out and picks up a tenth or more of penalty marks. I'm sure most of you out there are long-term fans of the sport of gymnastics, but if you are a reasonably new viewer, perhaps tuning in knowing there's a World Championships on the horizon, a really nice thing to watch for in these men's floor routines is just take a look at any adjustment steps the gymnast is making on the landing. Small adjustment steps or an adjustment move of the body like that will lead to tenths coming away incrementally from the score. But it's not all about that, it's the quality of the form in the air, and there was nice form in the air from Solveig in his twist position. He's a gymnast who's shown enormous promise lately, and he high-fives a gymnast who also has shown great promise lately. We're in for a treat with Marcus Casamento next. It's not been the easiest of years for Solveig, and going into Copair, where he made the final on the vault, he was 6th. He said that already exceeded his expectations at international level. Well, then to come back later and to win the silver medal in Sombate shows the resilience of this young athlete. Started with a nice layout position, great finesse at the apex of that tumbling pass. And as you would expect from a vaulter, he has real power. Of course, Canada over the years has done a pretty decent number, hasn't it, in floor vault specialists. A gentleman by the name of Kyle Schufelt springs to mind. And Solveig, huge fan of Kyle Schufelt. He actually uses Schufelt's own vault, which we'll hopefully have the chance to see later in the vault final, unless there are any surprises to what he produces. 13.35 for Solveig. His execution, 8.25, down several tenths from qualification. He didn't look quite as clean as he was in the preliminary round. Marcus Casamento of Australia, 7th best in qualification. This young man has real elegance on floor. He's the reigning Australian champion. That's beautiful tuck work. Isn't that lovely? Nice flourish. Nice sense of style to his gymnastics. Lovely toe point in the manner position. Oh, has a second instalment to come into that handstand. Bending the arms. Great strength to recover that. That's beautiful looking twist work to conclude his display. Marcus Casamento, he's definitely a gymnast you put into the one to keep your eye on category. Very promising. He's another who grew up watching the routines of Uchimura Kohei, studying them, breaking them down into minute detail. Imagine he and Lin Guanyi have much in common there in how they've studied the great Japanese champions' work over their youth. Well, this is a reminder of the performance of Leandre Solveig before. Brief reminder, just in case you'd forgotten. You won't have much chance to forget Leandre Solveig because we're going to see him again later. This is the gentleman we've just watched, Marcus Casamento. Made his first World Cup final in Sombate. It's a small thing, but that's a lovely sequence. It's balletic, it's stylish. And his toe point, again, is the toe point of a dancer, actually. And goodness, one wants some artistry in men's floor. 13.85. He improves on his qualification performance by a tenth and goes into the bronze medal position with 2 to go. So it's Patanin, then Lin, then Casamento. This is Tang Xiaohong of Chinese Taipei, second strongest qualifier. His execution score in qualification 8.9, and he's going to really need that stellar execution score if he is really to contend with some of the higher difficulty that others have posted. He's just been a little off axis slightly on his landing so far with some small adjustments. Almost something out of the Li Chi Kai playbook, his pommel horse specialist teammate. Beautiful stability. He won a silver medal on floor at the Paris World Cup with some very crisp gymnastics, and that's promising in terms of the leaderboard from Tang Xiaohong. He looks pretty happy with that himself as well. Very popular gymnast, particularly for his work on the horizontal bar, where he really is spectacular. On the subject of popular gymnasts, the next to come, the home hope to take the title. Let's look back at the work of the 26-year-old Tang Xiaohong. Does have some slight imprecision in his leg form in the air, which the judges may well remove some tenths for. But his flare work is very nice. Deliberate hand placement, it's so secure. Wonderful core strength to carry those flares off with such style. 14.25. His difficulty score remains 5.5. His execution significantly better than that of many, so he goes into the silver medal position with Adam Assil, the last to go. 14.4 in qualification from Assil. He's got the potential to win this though. He needs more than a tenth and a half added to his score to do that. Goodness, the power to rotate around so quickly in the tuck position. Now, he's losing some tenths for each of the landings, but his form in the air is quite superb. Planche position, only one of those we've seen in this final. Russian Wendeschwings as well. That's good strength work. That might be the best diagonal armed handstand we've seen in the whole final two. Not a wobble. Sets up for a huge finish. Adam Assil, very well done from the 23-year-old. Born in Alexandria in Egypt, but this is his home country now. This is the place where he's grown. This is the place where he's become one of the finest gymnasts in the world. And it matters so much to him to produce it for this crowd. And certainly he's in contention following that display. Assil is very much an example of one of those gymnasts who has quite a few adjustments on landing. But if you were to take your remote control, I don't know if anybody uses remote controls anymore, but pause your television right at the apex of his tumbling, you'd see the tidiness of his form there, for example. He's terrific in the air. Could put a plate of peas on that planche and none of them would fall off. So straight. There have been few gymnasts in the world busier than Adem Asil. His score 14.3, and it's good enough for a place on the podium. We'll bring you the classified results in just a moment. The action is going to continue though with the next couple of events in Mersin. But well done to Dmitry Patinin from Kazakhstan. We'll come back to that in a moment. These are your contenders for glory in the men's parallel bars. In fact, the men's pommel horse, they've changed the order of events, so apologies for that. A little bit of variety helps add some spice to life though, doesn't it? An excited looking Ferhat Arujan. And we have, in this competition, Radomir Šliž of Czech Republic getting us underway. He is a real contender for this title. The classified results in the men's floor exercise: the gold to Kazakhstan's Dmitry Patinin, the silver to Adem Asil of Turkey, and the bronze to Tang Xiaohong of Chinese Taipei, just beating his teammate. This is the victory ceremony for the men's floor competition. The bronze medal to Tang Xiaohong of Chinese Taipei after his silver medal in Paris. Winner of the silver medal, Adem Asil of Turkey. A gymnast who's competed virtually more than anyone else in the world over the space of the summer. The title won by Dmitry Patinin of Kazakhstan. Well done to him, the 22-year-old, taking his first World Cup honours. And it's a gold medal as well. Brilliant performance. He was the first to go in the men's floor final. And he set a standard that nobody else could match. 14.55. How lovely it is to see this young athlete really step up and inhabit the occasion of a World Cup final. And he's in very fine company. If he looks to his right and his left at the people that he's beaten, that's a job well done. We'll now have the national anthem of Kazakhstan. The playing of the state anthem of the Republic of Kazakhstan. in honour of Dmitry Patanin, the World Challenge Cup champion in the men's floor competition. We'll carry on with our scenes of celebration from the Mersin Gymnastics Hall for more victory ceremonies.